Okay, so we just reached 113.4 kilometers in altitude. Fair bit short of 120 kilometers. We've got 4.6 signs now, and 344,879 credit. So we need to somehow get another 7 kilometers out of the sounding rocket. So, sounding rocket low, and the sounding rocket medium. I've got 2 more. We've got first artificial satellite, and which is suborbital trajectory and return uncrewed. So now suborbital would mean we'd have to reach at least 140 kilometers. But for that we also need parachutes. We have some parachutes already, but that would mean a lot of extra weight. So we're going to stick with these sounding. See how far we can actually get within the sounding rocket contracts. So medium is 290,000. We've got 90 days to get that, so I don't think 290 kilometers or 290,000 meters is actually doable right now. So this one is 60 kilometers, so I think we'll try that one. We can make it to 60 kilometers. This all helps pay for the launch. Okay, so we'll go back out. I'm going to VAB and just see what we can do to squeeze a bit more altitude out of this particular sounding rocket. Okay, now there's one thing we could try, and that is take the lead ballast out of the vehicle completely and fill it with fuel. That way the whole launcher, the whole rocket itself, loses mass as it gets higher. We also get an extra. I'm going to try and increase this by another 5 seconds or so. So we'll take the tanks out and we'll fill it with the fuel, but we need to switch it to fuselage mode and then fill it with fuel. Ooh, no. 1 minute 7.1 seconds. We're going to be lifting far too much fuel up because the engine will cut out before then. So I want to shorten the nose cone down just a little bit. Actually, that's not going to be enough, is it? So I'm going to shorten down the actual launch of itself as well. No, a little bit more. Just so we just about reach about 60 seconds. There we go. So that's 10 seconds over. It may or may not work. I'm going to shrink these down a little bit more, down to about 10% the original size. If it actually lets me. No, it's not going to let me. It's not doing like that. So it's going to let me. I'm just increasing the size and bring it down. Oh, that's easier. Okay, so if the engine fires all for the full 60 seconds, we'll get this reduced mass. We'll lose mass as well as this empties. Hopefully it won't become destabilised. Hopefully, that is always a possibility. But we'll reach, we've got 2.56 lift capacity and 2,611 meters per second. That should be plenty. There's another thing I'm going to do. I'm going to, if you want to try to do this as in linear launch of it, always select the root part. So the root part really should be the actual probe core. Okay, a little bit of a straighter line. Doesn't look like much, but it could make a big difference later on, because it won't curve over as much. Right, I'm going to keep this as the S1 though. It's not really done anything significant. Not changed engines or anything like that yet. And I don't think I'll have those available. No. And it's at the maximum reliability. There's no more R&D to invest in. Okay, so if this works, it should easily go to 120 kilometers. But that's if it burns for the full 60 seconds, which isn't guaranteed. So what, 7 days, 15 hours, 55 minutes and 26 seconds. So I'll go ahead and build this. Let's go back out to the Space Center view and warp to completion and roll it out and launch it. Okay, so back at the Space Center view. Let's go ahead and warp to completion. Obviously you need to recondition the launch pad as well, so let's warp this. There we go. Also be a good idea to add some science components as well, some science experiments. Once we reach 120 kilometers, I'll add some more equipment to the sounding rocket. Okay, so let's warp to roll out. It's still going to be quite late at night. That's 07:51 GMT. So not 5 hours off. So it's about 2:51, nearly 3 AM in the morning. 3 AM in the morning? I mean 3 AM. Nearly 3 o'clock in the morning. Here in Florida. So it's to warp until we get a bit of daylight. Okay, so here comes the sun. It's quite low in the sky. Ooh, got a bit of fog. Bit of early morning mist. Ooh. Yeah, it is quite misty this morning. 24th of January 1951. I've no idea if it actually was a misty morning at Cape Canaveral, because I don't think Cape Canaveral actually existed in 1951. But like I said, it's in terms of tracking stations, it's a limit of the game itself. Okay, so let's go to the launch pad. Okay, so once again, for the third time, we're at the launch pad, and it is very misty. It's probably because it's winter, and it is a bit RSS, so you do get. Wait, that is pretty bad. And you do actually get seasons. Okay, so unlock the resource panel. Go to full throttle. As the last two flights, there's still no SAS, so we haven't got any sort of guidance, no real guidance anyway. So unlock the map, closing a little bit. Okay, so I think we're ready. So 3, 2, 1. And just for the last sort of 1 or 2 seconds we lost a little bit of power, as you can see down here. It's just turned amber, which means I had a slight failure. Just right click and see exactly what it's... Oh, there's a moon there. Very unstable. Just says flame out right now. Once we crash back down into the ocean, it should give us the failed catastrophic failure. It should actually tell us what exactly failed just then, or what exactly, you know, what caused it. Shut the engine down. It's a nice screenshot, that, with the moon behind us. Misty weather below. It's middle of winter. Let's take a little screenshot. That's nice, that. 107 kilometres. We're still doing well over a kilometre a second, where it was just then. So that's the contract for the sounding rocket done, which is pretty easy at 60 kilometres. So here comes, there we go. So that's 120 kilometres broken. Uncrewed altitude record 120 kilometres, but that's not the contract. That's 1600 credit plus 5 reputation. So there is the that's the first flight sounding rockets. Congratulations, you have launched your first rocket and have returned important scientific data. Now it is time to find out what is in space. Completion is 3 signs plus the 8 reputation. We'd actually, if you remember when we took the contract, they didn't actually give any sort of extra money for completing it. So we've got a bit more. That's 140 kilometres. We're now truly are in what would be termed as a space. Orbital space, at least. Not actually achieved Dolby, obviously. It's 140 kilometres. 1800 credit plus 5 reputation. So let us return some signs before we actually come back down. 3.4, and it's the same for recovering and transmitting, so we don't lose anything. Okay, that gives us 11 signs points. 350,765 credit. And reputation is, if I can actually, it's coming to the green. There's 25. So we're about 10 or so. So yeah, I think we've got about 10, I believe. It's not bad. It's only our third launch. Okay, we should find out that motor actually failed. It should be on the catastrophic failure sort of pop-up that comes up every time we smash down. Let's check another. No, there's no more. Now some contracts are actually required to actually return signs with actual value. Most of them don't. You just need to transmit, and it could be the same transmission. It could have 0 value, but you could still sort of complete the contract. But a lot of them require some value, so that's something you should sort of consider if you want to try and play this. As in not taking all the signs just because it's there. Because at some point in the future you may have to complete a contract by returning something of value and you won't have any left. which point the contract will fail and you lose a lot of money, potentially a lot of money anyway, and reputation. Bit of a wobble on. Zoom out. Let's find out what failed. There we go. So 58 seconds into the flight, WSE Corporal failed. Performance loss. So that could be a slight problem with the actual fuel flow. Now, since it's only sort of pressure fed, there's no actual fuel pump, it could be that we've got a little bit tiny minute bubbles, but wasn't quite enough to cut the engine out. Vapour in the feed lines, basically. Okay, that was actually quite successful. Let's go back to the Space Centre. Okay, so, back at the Space Centre. And another 22 days before supersonic flight unlocks. We can go into the R&D building and order another tech node to be unlocked. Just see in the upgrades section. No, there's no upgrades. So there's no more people to hire yet. Or no more people to actually send to these various departments. Let's go into the tech tree. The R&D building. Okay, so some of these nodes further on have prerequisites. Some of them have multiple prerequisites. As an example, prototype space planes. So you need high speed flight and stability early probes. So stability early probes is here. And there we have the solar panels. In order to complete certain early contracts, you need solar panels. I prefer making my own sort of payloads craft rather than using anything like these. Some of them are quite sort of handy to have, but a lot of them have not actually been correctly configured for Realism Overhaul yet, or RP0. So yeah, sometimes you can have electric charge when you actually shouldn't do. But it's all about discovering what works and what doesn't work. Exactly what you do in real life, I suppose. So we have various Pioneer 3 and 4, which Pioneer 1 and 2. And various components. Thought avionics unit. We have Sputnik 2. Yeah, these early, so Sputnik 2, Sputnik 1, you can do those yourself. There's original Sputnik 1, but you can make your own up by using either a 20-inch X-ray detector or Sputnik P5, is that P4 or PS? Sorry, it's Sputnik PS1. So the first satellite to orbit the Earth, but then obviously you see that the model there, it has no antenna. So you'd have to attach your own antennas anyway. But it's roughly about the same mass. This with all the antennas attached is actually the same mass as Sputnik itself. And Vanguard as well. Very similar to Sputnik. But it's only 1.5 kilos in weight, whereas Sputnik was about 83 kilos. Slightly larger. Okay, I think I need orbital rocketry. early orbital rocketry, because that will unlock the newer engines, updated engines for the sounding rockets. I don't think that is non-RP0. I won't be using any non-RP0 or non-RO parts, especially engines. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock this. So that's 384 days, 5 hours, 3 minutes and 9 seconds. So that's getting on for a year just to unlock one. And if we go back out to the Space Center, you'll see exactly what the problem as far as the tech nodes and unlocking them is. So what we're going to do, I want to show you just really quickly. Now you can see this is not counting down. So basically your entire technical team in the R&D building will concentrate on one single node at a time. So the 200 with the 22 days here and 384 days, that's cumulative, so that's to unlock this first, then it'll move on. Then the tech team will actually move on to the early orbital rocketry in this case. Node, whatever node you select, it's linear. They're not simultaneous. So that sort of expands the amount of time it takes, increases the amount of time it actually takes. So you've got to be careful when you actually accept contracts that you've got the tech right there to actually complete the contract, because unlocking these nodes, especially early on, when you've hardly got anyone working for you, it can take a heck of a long time. This is over a year. So, yeah. That's just one of the problems. But you can invest in your R&D section. I've got 1 point now. You get points from unlocking nodes, off ordering nodes, so you get an extra points. So I'm going to bring that down. So I'm going to spend about 50,000. So I'm going to buy 10. I'm going to buy 5 points. So that's 50,000 by 300,000. I can't just probably spend more, but I need to upgrade facilities in on the launch site as well. But the space center of the launch site. So I'm going to invest all of those points here, because we're only doing sounding rockets for now, so it's about a week. Even if it's a fortnight to build a larger sounding rocket, it's still not too long. So let's take out. So that's shortened that down significantly. It's halved this, and it looks like it's halved this as well. So it's 11 days 15 hours for supersonic flight, and for early orbital rocketry it's 197 days 7 hours 8 minutes and 6 seconds. So that's doable. That's, you know, that's manageable. We can work with that. Alright. Let's see what Gene has for us in mission control.
Aha!
So uncrewed altitude, this is just an achievement, not an actual contract, of 160 kilometers and 1500 meters per second on uncrewed speed record. Let's see what he's actually got. So here we have the V2 rocket. This is exactly the point I was making earlier on in an earlier video. The V2 technical name Aggregate 4 or A4 was the world's first long-range guided ballistic missile. The missile with a liquid propellant rocket engine was developed during the Second World War in Germany as a vengeance weapon designed to attack Allied cities as retaliation for the Allied bombings against German cities. The V2 rocket also became the first artificial object to cross the boundary of space with the vertical, that's the point I wanted to make, the vertical launch of V177 on 20th of June 1944. It had to go vertical to cross the Kármán line. Now the current engine in the VAB will take you well beyond the Kármán line. It's 4,000 something delta V, if I remember correctly from memory. So, significance. The V2A4 was the first man-made object to cross the Kármán line. There we go. And reach space. Or technically space will actually begin properly 140 kilometers. This early rocket was the basis of the rockets developed in both the USSR, the Soviet Union, and the United States that would, after World War II. Anyway, wait a minute, that's a bit strange. This early rocket was the basis of the rockets developed in both the USSR and USA. What's the that would about at the end there? Never mind. After World War II, the German scientists that worked on the project helped to develop the technology in both countries. In this case, United States, it was called Operation Paperclip. So, historical launch date is June the 20th, 1944. You see, some of these contracts are before 1951. Yet, we spend time in 1951 on things like this. Okay, so launch the first rocket to reach space, which you've already done. You've gone beyond 140 kilometers actually. So prestigious trivial. So the rocket needs to escape the atmosphere and reach space. So V2, we get 254,840 advance, another 509,680 plus 3 science and 20 reputation points for completion. There's no date limit again, so there's no actual deadline. So we'll take that. So we've got sounding rockets. No, all we've got is sounding rocket medium. 460,000 now. Don't think we're able to reach that. Not just yet. 460 kilometers. Don't think I've got anything else. We've got no low. No, we've got no low sounding rocket. We just got the V2 rocket plus 1500 meters per second, 160 kilometers. We can easily reach 160 kilometers. I should think so. Should think. Okay, so let's head back out into the Space Center view. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to modify the V2, the A4 engine, so it has a realistic ISP and thrust. Because it should not be able to reach the Kármán line unless it goes vertical. So I'm going to try and make that make that work. Then I'll head into the VAB. So we'll head into the VAB. And basically just head into the VAB. In the meantime, I'll actually walk into VB myself. I'm going to go and edit this these config files down if I can. If I can't, then I'm going to reduce the power some other way.